The Valleylab FT10 energy platform provides radio frequency, RF, energy for monopolar and bipolar surgical applications, tissue fusion, and vessel sealing applications, and cardiac tissue ablation. The energy platform detects coded handsets and configures the energy platform accordingly. Safety and diagnostic functionality include automatic fail-safe functions. For cardiac tissue ablation, the Cardioblate surgical ablation system is comprised of irrigated monopolar pens and irrigated bipolar clamps, delivering radiofrequency energy to provide accurate, reproducible transmurality when creating lesions using irrigated radiofrequency energy, which heats the cells to the point of cell death. Secure the return electrode to the patient's back while the patient is being prepared for surgery. The electrode must be remote electrode monitor, REM, enabled and have a conductive adhesive and a minimum surface area of 100 centimeters squared. Positioning the electrode as close as possible to the patient's heart will assist in effectively delivering the RF energy to the tissue. If the back is not an appropriate site due to patient anatomy, placement on the hip or buttock is acceptable. Care should be taken to ensure the electrode has good contact with the skin. If good contact is not found, the system now take the Cardioblate pen and/or bipolar device tray out of its box. Then remove the outer envelope and tray lid. Remove the tape binding from the device cords. Next, connect a 1000 cc bag of saline solution to the IV line using standard IV routine. Insert the saline bag into a commercially available pressure cuff and inflate to between 150 and 300 millimeters of mercury. If both a bipolar device and pen are being used, attach the female lure of both devices to the Y connector provided. Then insert the IV line into the Y connector. Flush through the irrigation line until saline flows through the tip of the pen and bipolar device. The trigger must be closed on the bipolar device to initiate saline flow. Always ensure irrigation is flowing prior to commencing ablation. Turn off the irrigation by releasing the trigger on the bipolar device, and use the tubing clamp on the pen until you're ready to begin the ablation procedure. After a device is connected and recognized, the corresponding image will appear on the screen for your selection. Each Cardioblate option has an accompanying information icon. Tap the icon and it will link to a corresponding setup diagram that serves as a reminder to operators. Once the mode has been selected, the larger full screen will appear and remain active during ablation. If two Cardioblate devices are plugged in, you will select monopolar or bipolar within the touchscreen window of the interface touchscreen. The Valleylab FT10 may be used to energize non-Cardioblate devices within the same procedure. It can power up to two monopolar devices at one time. If the pen is used, place the generator in monopolar mode by pressing the monopolar button on the upper right section of the touchscreen. The settings displayed will be from the previous use or the factory default setting if this is a new unit. Use the arrow keys located on the touchscreen to adjust the pen wattage to between 20 and 30 watts. If a bipolar device is used, select the bipolar mode by pressing the bipolar button on the lower right section of the touchscreen. The generator automatically goes into transmurality mode. No adjustments to the generator are necessary. Prior to performing any tissue ablation in bipolar mode, a priming ablation should be performed to ensure adequate flow of irrigation. Place a standard piece of gauze at least 4 folds thick between the jaws of the bipolar devices. Move the trigger lock forward and then squeeze the handle to close the jaws. The surgeon can press the foot pedal to begin ablating, or the circulating nurse can press the Start RF button located in the lower portion of the touchscreen. Perform this priming ablation for 1 RF energy cycle. To prevent the porous jaws from drying out and clogging, maintain the jaws immersed in saline or covered with a wet sponge between ablations. If using the monopolar pen, ensure that the generator is set to monopolar mode and that irrigation is flowing. Apply the ablation device to the tissue and activate the radiofrequency current by pressing down on the foot pedal. Another option is to press the Start RF button on the lower right section of the touchscreen. The generator will beep at 1-second intervals during ablation while current flows between the ablation tip and the return electrode on the patient's body. Impedance levels are monitored continuously, and the generator will self-adjust to maintain consistent power output at the tissue interface. The distal tip of the pen is oscillated gently across a 1 centimeter length of tissue at a time to create the lesions, which may appear as white or yellowish coloration. Continual pen movement reduces the risk of hot spots or popping occurring. The recommended monopolar ablation time is determined by referring to the instructions for use for any of the monopolar ablation devices, which can be found on manuals.medtronic.com or from your sales representative. If using a Cardioblate bipolar device, ensure the generator is in bipolar mode. The surgeon will position the electrodes on the target tissue and close and lock the jaws in place. Confirm irrigation is flowing, then press the foot pedal to begin ablating. Another option is to press the Start RF button on the lower portion of the screen. The generator will beep twice per second during ablation as the current flows between the two electrodes. Once the generator's algorithm detects a transmural lesion, a solid tone will be emitted to alert the surgeon it is time to stop ablating. To stop RF energy delivery, release the foot switch or press the Stop RF button. If an error occurs, an error message will appear on the touchscreen. You can consult the technical manual and/or press the question mark button on the touchscreen for further information and troubleshooting tips. When attaching two Cardioblate devices, switching between monopolar and bipolar devices can be accomplished on the touchscreen with the toggle switch. Tone review. In Cardioblate mode, the Valleylab FT10 emits 4 audible tones to alert the surgeon of one of the following conditions. 1 single beep approximately every second confirms monopolar energy is being delivered. 2 quick beeps confirms bipolar energy is being delivered. 3 quick beeps indicates energy delivery was requested, but not delivered. In monopolar mode, the most common error is loss of tissue contact with the monopolar pen. Reconfirm tissue contact and depress the foot pedal or on-screen RF activation button. 1 long solid tone indicates transmurality is confirmed in bipolar mode. When finished with the Cardioblate surgical ablation devices, discard them according to local regulations and hospital procedures. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the details of the interface touchscreen, which allows the user to easily set and adjust generator parameters. You can use the touchscreen with either gloved or bare hands. Several of these features have been reviewed already in the setup instructions. Additional features include total RF time, RF timer measurement display, impedance measurement display, and RF power measurement display. Adjust the volume on the generator by pressing the plus or minus buttons located on the interface touchscreen. This completes the Valleylab FT10 in-service. If you have additional questions, please contact your local Medtronic cardiac surgery sales representative.